Now I need to open the ID. So just type 2 plus 3, 2 plus 2 or 3, it is a 4. It is somehow the addition 2 plus 6 plus 7, it is all the addition 4 plus 8 minus 6. So easy to do addition and multiplication in the Python shell. And similarly we'll see something about the multiplications. 5 into 7, 5 into 6 is 30. This is the simple multiplication, addition and subtraction operations that is done in the Python shell, and Python shell interpreted in a very much pretty easily way in its interpreter. This is its shell. So similarly, what about the division? Division can be done by the slash sign and dividing by 5. So division is always done into the float. So let me give you a stance of a float. What is the integer? What is the difference between an integer and a float? So if you type a 2 here without a 2 only, this 2 is an integer. Similarly, if you give a decimal of a 2.0, so this is a float. So float is just a fancy word for describing the decimal value. So there is a type function which can give you a what type of a value or data you are giving is a float. A class is a float 2.0. Similarly, in the Python, 2 and 2.0 is different. In any other programming language 2 also 2 and 2.0 is different. So just remind it that 2 and 2.0 is different because they are in the different class, that is integer and the float. So another is 10 of modulo. Modulo is this sign is called a modulo. What this sign does is give you pretty much a remainder. So 10 divided by 2 gives a remainder of 0. But what about 11 modulo of 2? It must give 1 because the remainder will be 1. So this modulo sign is very important. Just get a reminder. This modulo sign gives a remainder of what the value will be in the remainder. And just remind you of a float class. Float is giving a 0.0 or decimal value is of class float, and not decimal value is of class integer. So just keep in mind. And other operations are like getting easy things, like if you were in a Python 2.2.7 or later, the operations done by this would give you only a 5. So pretty much in the after the 3 version it has been fixed and given a complete 5.5. So for the 2 or later, you had to just divide by 2 to get the what is the remainder or what is the value. So it was pretty much hard to divide to say that it has it would provide you an actual value into manipulations. But 3.6 or 3 or later has provided exactly what the division is, and it is very easy to say that 11 by 2 is 5.5, and it has provided a good example.